Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 197.
It's beginning to look like Christmas.
This week on Cup of Rad.
Hi, everyone.
Katie's doing okay, apparently. That's how we're starting.
You know what? I have my moment. Granted, I'm probably going to edit it, so you might not know, but I'm still going to say. I'm like, okay, I got the title of the episode. I'm good. I got this. And then I go to say it, and I just stare blankly at Mike. And it's like, it's got to be there. Line. I should just do that one time and just lean into it.
Yeah. That would make more sense.
I've also realized that I always just say you have all these fun, like, different ways to say hello and I'm just always the same. Because
I just say hello there. It's Mike.
I know, but all the different voices. And then I think I have it all in my head that I'll do something different. And then it goes out the window and panic and anxiety. Okay. There's my verbal.
Whenever I try to stay like normal, you always say like I'm being fancy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because your normal is fancy. So we're here.
Are we though?
Are we? We don't know.
We don't know.
Hypothetically, we're not caffeinated yet, but soon to be in our lovely Christmas mugs.
Yes, because it's beginning to look like Christmas.
Yes.
So we actually, over this last little break, I broke out my tip jar and we went Christmas shopping because there is some interesting weather upon us and we needed to get down the valley to get to for some shopping for Christmas. We got the bulk of everything pretty much done. We just have a little bit, but it's all stuff that could be done in town, which is really cool. We're being light and breezy this Christmas.
We did take advantage of a few Black Friday sales, which was a bonus. Mm-hmm. But yeah, not a ton. But yeah, we were really successul in finding some things, which was great. Yeah.
So which is good. So as you can tell, Christmas has started. Or the holiday season or the whatever.
It's just like flew right down upon us.
I have, as we record this episode, I actually have 15 days of work left before Christmas break. Like 15 actual work days, not including the weekends, but working days, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. I'm pretty soon going to count down my days to I get the week after Christmas off, and I'm so excited because I had Friday off so we could decorate, and it was so relaxing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was like the first day in I don't know how long that I didn't get out of my pajamas.
I know, right? We didn't
like
leave
I
the
can't
house.
even like
I didn't
actually remember
when we've done that.
Yeah, so that was a huge like.
And realize, and we still felt so accomplished for the day. Mm-hmm. So that was cool.
Well, because we were doing something fun. We were actually we were decorating. We were putting up all our decorations. So it made things.
And I got no emails or texts or anything from work. It was marvelous.
So this episode has a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So it's not all Christmas. Because it's just starting to look like Christmas.
It's just beginning.
Yeah, it's just beginning.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, just the tip of Christmas.
I seriously was about to say that. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to go down that road, but leave it to Mike. He brings out the tip.
Well, it's like you're going to have part of a candy cane. Just like,
You're just going to lick it?
I haven't done any Christmas baking yet, so that means that it's not a lot like Christmas yet. But at the same time, it is.
But I do have eggnog.
It made sense to have eggnog when we were decorating.
It was marvelous.
I am sad that we didn't make. I don't know why I screwed that up and didn't make cookies or something for decorating to have at least something.
Because it happened so quickly.
That's right, it did.
And everything. I bought Snickerdoodle Oreos that were Christmas themed. Not the
same.
So at least there was something.
Not the same.
Then go and leave now. Stop. Emergency baking.
We don't have.
I have flour and sugar.
Yeah, you need the fat.
We don't have any butter.
You want me to use mayonnaise? I don't
Ew.
know.
Oh, why did you have to do that? Ugh. Never mind. So Thursday
Whipple fun.
baking? You and kiddo can bake on Wednesday when I'm not here. Oh, his eye twitched from that one. That was fantastic.
Yeah, so today was the first day in a while too that I actually haven't left the house on an errand or second work or anything.
Came home and just got to stay home.
Yeah, I did laundry.
Wasn't it exciting?
No, you know what? It was nice though because like I put my music in my ears and I just was there.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we're gonna have snow this week, which I'm not.
I'm curious to see. Everyone's like. Everyone's
panic.
like, we're gonna get lots of snow, and then it's gonna turn to freezing rain, and I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, and normally I would be totally okay with it.
Yeah.
But I have to drive down the valley on Wednesday evening, and that is my only reason I'm whining. If it wasn't for that, I'd be fine. I could work from home if I need to.
Yeah.
You know, everything's cool. But that's my only complaint.
I could do your hair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we going to Sharpie color the pink in?
I don't know. You're going to do red and green.
Oh, yes. I was going to do half red, half green.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell Rihanna about that.
And permit.
Yeah. That'll be fantastic. I got to send her that picture and be like, guess what? We're doing this. It's going to be fantastic. Oh, can you imagine me walking in my Christmas party like that or the Monday morning meeting and be like, boom, Christmas delight on my head. Oh, so I have to tell you, meeting this morning. A special guest joined us in our normal work meeting there. And he starts talking about like fun different ways we can learn about different things. And then he starts talking about the fact that we need to role play and start, maybe we could try something fun and different. We can like switch it up a little bit and role play. And me and one of my coworkers, here you are on Teams and you can't actually like turn away or hide. We're all staring at each other and we're just trying really hard to keep a straight face.
Pretend to sneeze, get a Kleenex.
Yeah. So we chatted about it afterwards. We're like, he has no idea how awkward he can come across. But we're like, you're so excited about it. And then our boss is just like finding ways to be like, no, just no. And it was basically like, okay, your idea, you're up first. You get to be put on the spot for it. So
nice.
That was funny. Well, it's a little something different at least, but
yeah, a little role play action.
Little fun role play at work.
Right on.
So anyways, why we're here
is movies, and more movies. That's what you come here to listen to us, is to blah blah on about what we think about movies. Do you care? Because we are not certified peoples of any type of thing. So
certified peoples?
No. When it comes to reviews, we're just a couple of basement dwellers.
But we're cool.
Deep within our podcast rights. And that's what we're going to do.
How many people are really certified peoples now? Really? Really?
Yeah, that's true. So we're more certified. You can't even say
you get paid for it and you're certified.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what we're here for. We're here to spout our thoughts on a movie that we watched on Disney Plus.
So what's up first, Mike?
Well, we watched it on Disney Plus. And the film we watched was Barbarian. I think you should grab your coffee, Katie, and get caffeinated.
Coffee sounds amazing.
Little coffee action.
We have oat milk in here? No?
Yes.
Maybe?
The gingerbread oat milk.
How exciting. Sorry, that's what I meant. It looked a little bit different. We bought this local gingerbread flavored oat milk from a craft fair.
It came in a bag.
It came in a bag.
Not a Ziploc bag.
A bag of oat milk. It was very exciting. So, anyways.
But yes, so a film called
Barbarian. Golden oat milk. All sorts. Look at the bombastic, exciting nature of a cup of rad. I'm going to be quiet now.
I said to her, I was like, you feel like recording? She's like, we have to. We should record.
We're recording.
You feel like recording?
We're recording just fine.
It's kind of like at the moment where like it's the kid, the people listening are like the kid at the kids table watching mom and dad fight right now. Like we've just triggered so much trauma in people that they're just like,
Why are we being
We're not fighting. We're not fighting, but it's just like that.
Oh, we could be fighting, man. Oh
no.
Oh, we're fighting.
Anyway, so the movie we watched is called Barbarian. It came out this year. It showed up for us on Disney Plus, the Star Plus. In the States, you're gonna find it on Hulu.
Yeah, you've been looking at this thing repeatedly for a while.
Yeah. I was really excited to watch it.
I couldn't remember what it was exactly. I remember you had told me about it. I knew it was a horror movie, and we're just like, let's just see what this is.
Yeah. So the gist of it is that this lady goes to a B&B. She shows up in the B&B. Someone's already there. Dude invites her in. And that's kind of where the trailers.
Yeah, it's basically double booked.
Yeah.
And which kind of highlighted an issue that could actually happen, you know.
2 different sites booking.
Yeah.
Booking the same place. So it got double booked. So
it's that unease about someone who's trying to be nice, but are they being nice or are they being creepy?
Or are they the problem?
Right?
So the dude that had booked the place was played by Bill Skarsgård. So instantly...
You assume bad guy.
You assume bad guy.
But he was so... What was nice is that we assume creepy because of it.
Yeah.
But
he also is kind of creepy looking.
He is. But at the same time, he's also really sweet.
Yeah.
But I kept feeling that same unease that the character she was portraying. Mm-hmm. And you just keep feeling like a little bit of guard still there. Which is, I mean, a healthy thing, of course, in this situation. And she did a lot of good actions of being on guard and not just assuming everything was fine. Yeah. But he did so many things that were trying to earn her trust, which was impressive, but it was definitely still, unease.
Yeah, it still puts you on unease. Yeah. So on this is gonna be like one of those spoiler free moment, and then we're gonna talk probably a little bit more about it. I'm gonna assume
it's hard because this one we have to, but
otherwise it's a really short review. Okay, so I really liked the movie. Okay, so I probably wouldn't watch it again. Maybe another rewatch just because to see some of the extra nuances. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot that goes on in this film that surprisingly was not in the trailer. So if you'd watch the trailers, you're not getting which was a fantastic thing. You're not getting what the whole movie is.
Yeah.
This movie goes a bit of a gauntlet of almost different genres of horror within the same film without feeling disjointed.
Yeah, it has a cut in the middle of it where you have to take a moment where what is this the same movie? What happened? But it doesn't take long for it to really find its way back together. And you're like, oh, okay, that was really cool. Yeah. You just got to give it that moment. But it comes together really nicely.
I really liked it. It was really eerie, and the acting in it was pretty decent. I enjoyed the first bit more with Skarsgård before Justin Long showed up, and that's when the movie shifts, and not for the worse, but there's a change in pacing and a change of style.
Well, it changes from being more of the atmospheric suspense and the kind of the off-putting to there's a clear, bad villain. There is kind of see, and then it turns into the more why is this happening versus what is happening.
Yeah. But then even still, then it goes into a third act where it turns into a B movie monster movie.
Yeah.
And
I really enjoyed it. I really did. I kind of had that my moment where I'm like, whatever. I'm doing something else. I won't really care. But there was a few times where I'd find myself on my phone. I'm like, no, I gotta watch this. And I ended up really wanting to pay attention to it more. And I enjoyed it way more than I was expecting.
Yeah. So, definitely, if you haven't seen it, go watch Barbarian before you continue on or skip over the next 10 minutes, whatever. There's your moment. Go now. Go watch Barbarian. Why are you still listening to me? Do you need me to hold your hand?
Or you're already...
Or you're barbarian curious. So the movie...
So Skarsgård is not the bad guy.
And dies pretty quickly in the movie.
See, we jumped right into spoilers there.
That was... And his death's pretty brutal, actually.
Yeah.
By something you don't really know what it is.
No. And when that happened, I'm like, what the fuck? fuck? This was terrible. And I thought he was in the movie more. And I'm like, this hasn't been that long, has it? Like,
well, it was a decent setup. Like, it was a long atmospherical, like, setting and like ambiance, and it was like dark, like it's so dark and gloomy,
and then
like,
it just happened so quickly.
You just keep feeling like oh, and then you're like, no, he's still the bad guy. He's tricking her into the basement because there's
weirdness, and he seems okay with it.
He's like, he needs to see it, so he's like tricking her down, and then suddenly there's a staircase and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and then suddenly out of nowhere something grabs him by the face and smashes his face into the wall over and over and over again. And it screams, and you can't quite tell if it's a naked grandma.
It was a naked grandma, that's what
or like a monster, or what it is.
It was a naked, creepy mole rat grandma, and I was just threw myself back on the couch with the what the hell's this? And oh my god,
yeah, it was a moment.
And then it cut to sun and the beach, and driving, and I'm like, what is this? So as I said earlier, like it definitely took me off guard to have that sudden shift.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that it didn't take forever to find its way back. As soon as you see him talking about other properties, and you're like, wait a second, he owns the rental, the B&B, which is why he's disconnected. He just hires it out.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so something's going to happen. So now does he know what's going on? So now it turns into why is this happening?
Yep.
And, you still don't know what it is, but.
Yep. And then you start getting flashbacks from the past about this old man that lived in the house that was like, that also was a killer.
And that was the other thing that was really creepy with that guy yelling at her to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Because
this homeless man comes charging at her, and he's like, you can't be in that house. You have to leave. And she thinks he's like coming to hurt her. Yeah. But in reality, he's trying to save her.
Right?
Because people go in that house and they don't come back.
So it really shows, though, that it also had layers of villains of things, right? So there was so much, and prejudice that we have. We assumed that the homeless guy running at her wasn't a bad guy, was trying to hurt her. Obviously, it was still shocking.
The whole area was like dilapidated. There was only one house.
That was an awesome reveal, eh?
Yeah.
It goes from this pitch black at night, and then she comes out the next morning, and everything is
destroyed,
and like just looks like a leftover war zone idea. And that was a really cool switch to really just throw you into what's going on.
And then it ties back to when Skarsgård is like, have you seen this place? You shouldn't be out there alone. Like,
yeah, right? Exactly. Like he knew.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. And so there's differences, between Justin Long goes back and forth with his character of, I'm being the bad guy. Yeah. I'm glad that they took the route they did with him showing that with his accusation. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, starts like, I didn't do anything wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets a little drunk and he's talking to his friend. And then you start feeling, he starts talking more, and you're like, no, you're across the line.
Yeah. You still did something wrong.
And
the moment you say it just took coaxing,
right? You're like, no, that was not willful, the consent. Yeah. And so it's good to see all the different layers of that, because then he went back and forth, but he almost was like worse for everything because he willingly let people go. Like that's why I was just so sad with Skarsgård, is he would be there to
seemed
protect
like
her.
A pretty decent being. Like, versus
and then the creepy naked grandma, which isn't a grandma,
is a daughter.
She was just a product of trauma, of incest baby
from like the guy kidnapped people and made babies, and this is like
layers upon layers of babies.
Weird like
there was a whole other story that really wasn't touched
people
upon.
People under the really stairs, how hills have eyes. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, it went from like, oh, I thought they're just gonna be like a serial killer, to like, mutant babies.
Right. Well, because then she was stupid strong too. So it was like supernatural.
But that's the idea that though is like they lose their humanity, but they become barbarians. Right?
Yeah.
Like they're like.
Oh, but then
and all she wanted was a baby, so she was kidnapping people to feed them her.
Which was so disturbing. There was a lot of creepy factor to this too.
Her titties.
Yeah, that was really wouldn't stop fast enough.
No, that was an awkward scene, and it's not that graphic. It's just really painful watching it.
Yeah. This movie was really good though. It had a lot of emotional, the way it was set up and the vibe of the movie itself. And it was a good story. It was enough that it didn't give you every single answer.
No, there's lots of answers but
it gave you lots of, like, you understood what happened to the characters that were involved themselves, and to the point where you don't need to know everything about the creepy
That's what
naked
makes
lady.
Some good villains sometimes,
right? You don't need to know.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed that.
But that's when, at the very end, that's when it turned to the B horror movie. Was when they got out of the house and the homeless guy saved them. And then he's like, no one's gotten here before. And all of a sudden it burst through the wall. And I was just like, it reminded me of like a trauma movie.
Right?
Right? Like all of a sudden, like the Toxie kind of like comes in, right?
Yeah.
And then, No, I thought it was good. So we spoiled something.
We spoiled all of it.
We didn't spoil all of it.
All of it.
No, it's not as sour as her milk.
Ew.
But yeah, definitely take a watch. Because it was an interesting one. Like, there's a lot still there that, like,
even if you listen to this and it's spoiled, I would still recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Because you're still gonna get the vibe. You're still, then you can say, okay, yeah, Mike and Katie are full of it, or yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's still worth the watch, even if you know what's going on. But as Mike had said originally, though, I don't know the rewatchability of it too much, because I think it has
one more watch in it,
and to see more of those nuances that maybe you couldn't because you were worried too much about what was happening over here or something. Especially
you also know where to look a little bit more now, so you can kind of maybe see some other things as well.
Well, yeah, I'd be curious to look a little bit more in the background or the foreground,
because there was some shadowy.
I kept looking at the background sometimes, but like knowing now Skarsgård isn't the bad guy, like almost looking at that scene differently for things, or some foreshadowing that might have been there or stuff like that. But at some point, with the lack of the suspense of not knowing the story, it would get a little boring,
because there's not enough like creative kills to really make it like
holy crap.
Woo, let's watch the but yeah, so Barbarian
next up on Disney Plus.
So the finale of Andor came out, and I think we mentioned before that it was a slow burn.
Yes,
but never like a slow burn that was like, I don't want to watch this, just like,
well, it was like it was getting better, and because it really did get much better in the last like third of this season there. But yeah, it never was like, oh God, what is this? Or something.
Yeah, it was never.
But we're still waiting for like the wow factor for it, really, right?
So it definitely painted that evil empire feel that was lacking from a lot of other media, right? Because like there's even like more books and stuff that kind of like glorify it almost, like.
Well, and that's the thing that's nice is this did not make them look good at all. They didn't make them look like cool guys, or anything like that. It was just evil.
It was the police
and manipulative
and yes,
and doing it, the power hungry, doing whatever they want, taking advantage of people because they could. The whole prison system was just like, well, what else are you gonna do? We have you by the balls.
Yep.
And it's just like
it's a terrible thing to think of, like how easily that could happen though. Like, oh, you finish your sentence, we'll just move you another floor,
right?
And just say you got.
Or the one where they just decide to triple their sentences or whatever. Just random. The fact that he should never even been there in the first place.
For as long as he was, because it
wasn't even an actual infraction, and then it was. So it's that issue that they were making because of what was going on with them. They were making up their laws because they had that total control. Well, then when you make up that law without the checks and balances for things or anyone pushing back, you have absolute power. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah.
To see that unfold.
Yeah. That final episode I was wondering where it was going to go, and it went off with a bang. Like it was an emotionally charged like episode with the funeral scene and all that. And that it was
gave me goosebumps.
Just that whole, it is that spark of the rebellion feel where it's like, they're going along, and instead of just allowing them to have their funeral, the Empire has to step in And
it was still just, you could tell that sense of issue and tension between them, right?
Yeah.
And I love that before she even calls them to stand up, they already had that bit of a fuck you vibe of we're going to do what we want.
Yeah.
And we're going to stare you down. And it was just so, I know you had said it was very powerful.
Oh yeah. It was an emotional, like, to see that as they came to it. And,
even Kiddo, he was worried that there was going to be more absolute slaughter. Like, I was afraid that they were going to herd them into a place and just shoot them. Like, that's because that's
they did kill a lot of them.
They killed a lot of them, and that's the empire that was being portrayed, though.
Yeah.
Was I had zero doubt that they would have done that if given the opportunity or the reason to. The fact that it didn't happen was surprising to me. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of damage.
I know she was related to Andor, so they were going after trying to bait him as well. But like, there was riot police for a funeral, so they knew exactly what they were trying to shut down and where they were going. They were ready for a fight. There was no ifs, ands, or buts that there was going to be.
Yeah, they were. It wasn't a covert mission to just take him down.
Yeah,
they were ready to show a show of power and stamp out any sort of rebellion that was going to show up.
Yeah, or any spirit.
Exactly. Well, and it's going to show them between. I can't remember where they were, but where they did the heist, and then on this planet, showing them stamping out cultural beliefs, and it's no different than our history of things of colonizers and everything. Of if you see something different, by taking away their identity, you break their spirit, and they're easier to mold into your control and your power. But if you let them have their own sense of identity, their own beliefs, their own practices, they retain that separation and they don't fall in line as easy. And so you see that then with them, just complaining and just acting like, oh God, why are they doing this funeral? Do you guys not remember what it was like growing up? Did you not have any beliefs? Like, what are you that angry about your own place of birth that you just didn't want to be there at all? Like, a bunch of traumatized babies here. Yeah. And then wanting to project that pain on everyone else. But then you see then with the guy that the ISB guy, how broken his home was because his mom is a terrible person. Was that it? Is that the reason? Was he motivated to do all this because it was the only place he needed that power? He needed control. He needed to do something because his mom gave him none. Yeah. So, not saying it's okay, but it's just, it then attracted all people like that who then justify it. And there's just so much good commentary on the real world.
Oh yeah. There was
and this did a great job of it.
Yeah. And then this is further proof that they're doing better with their shows and stuff than they did with this sequel. Yeah. They oh yeah. And I think we've said it before, like they built the sequel trilogy so much on nostalgia that they weren't able to really tell a poignant story that should have been told.
Well, it focused too much on the mythos regarding Skywalker rather than a bigger picture of the good and bad that could have been told without a name behind it. Yeah. Necessarily, right? It's the core principles.
And that's what they tried to do with The Last Jedi, but then it got stamped out because people didn't like where they were trying to take things. So it shows that they're giving more respect to creators than to flesh out these worlds within the plus format.
So it did definitely turn around and really found its wow factor then. And it did leave me on a note where I'm excited to when it comes back. Yeah. So that's a bonus. It definitely did its job.
Because there's I think 3 seasons and it's all going to lead right up till Rogue One.
Well, Kiddo was already like, okay, well then he was actually asking to watch Rogue One. Yeah. And then when I told him about the other ones, he's like, oh, okay, then we can wait. I'm like, dude, this is still years away. Like we could just still watch Rogue One. Yeah. But it was exciting for him to actually ask to watch that because he would not have done that necessarily in the past, but he was really engaged with that, with this series there. And I always judge that because it is a series that there is good principles.
Higher thinking too.
Yeah. And to be able to grab his attention is a bonus.
Yeah. Because it was a drama through and through. Just so we're going to keep it still the non-holiday portion of the episode. Oh, yes. and then we'll do a flip.
Because I promise it's still beginning to look like Christmas.
Just beginning. Just dipping those toes in the eggnog. I kind of made you, so I feel, watch Pearl.
I willingly watched.
Oh, I know. But there's other movies that you've been wanting to watch, and I pulled you over for this one.
Nah, it's okay.
Because I've been waiting to watch. I wanted to see this in theaters, but we just could never get there.
Yeah.
So it showed up on demand. It is the prequel to T. West's X that came out earlier this year. I think it's kind of cool with this is that during the filming of X, they came up with the idea of the prequel, and they pitched it to the studio, and the studio said, yeah, go ahead. We got the sets. Right. So then they just ran with it. So like after X finished, they rolled right into filming Pearl.
Yeah.
So, X came out in like March or April or something, and Pearl came out in September.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the quick turnaround, but that would be why. Is it just
so that the third one, Maxine, I think it's called, comes out next year.
Oh, they're doing another one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna be dealing with the Max character like in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So so it's Mia Goth is definitely getting a horror trilogy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, like out of nowhere, right? So Pearl is the origin of Pearl.
Yeah.
It's during the Spanish
flu 1918.
Yeah. So
it's dealing with World War I. It's dealing with the Spanish flu, which was a perfect way for them to film during COVID because they had to wear masks anyway. And
the whole thing really does. It's almost that allegory, though. It talks about how the traumas really screw people up. Yeah. Right.
The isolation and
yeah. So it's a perfect time to use that, but without actually using COVID. Yeah. Right. So I thought that was really cool because you do have a scene where she goes into town and everyone's wearing a mask. Right. And she's not, and she's just doing what she wants. But then also like,
and then the trauma of not the trauma, but the conflict that can happen from family members, like, suddenly being found out that you weren't being protected and then like banishing them and like issues with that back and forth too.
Yep.
Right?
And so like her family's from Germany, so they're already, in a problem because of the war. Yeah. Then there's the flu going along, and her father was affected by the flu. So then,
he's completely invalid.
Right. So there's like, yeah. So it's not a horror movie. No. Like X was. Yeah. X was definitely the homage to the 70s slasher. Like, it has it has the look of Texas Chainsaw, but the feel of Friday the 13th. That's how I view X. Pearl is definitely a character study. Yes. Of the effects of unwanted trauma. It's a generational trauma. Yeah. Being put forth, and the isolation that creates an unhealthy look on life. And there's also those parables of wanting to be famous and not becoming famous for what you can do. Like she just wants to dance and like,
she just wants to be famous. She thinks she's the best thing ever and she wants it. So then everyone else must also want it. Yeah. And then not being able to handle rejection. Yeah. And it's just so much good story because she just flies off the handle when someone doesn't tell her she's the best thing ever. Yeah. But it's also the issue of her mom. She's never good enough for her mom, and not appreciating though what the family dynamic is for things. And she just, for as much as she is an adult, she is still very much a child, right?
I just think there's so many things that connect to Insta fame of our world of like TikTok and it as much as it takes place in 1918, like it literally could take place now and be the same story. Yeah. And it
would just have a different set.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's kind of scary. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I really liked it. Like,
she had a really long monologue in there. We haven't realized how long it's been since you really saw a monologue in a movie. And she did a great job with it. Oh, yeah.
The delivery of it's fantastic.
Yeah. Like that was really like impressive.
10 minutes.
Yeah. It's like really long. Yeah. And it's a whole expression of guilt and confusion and things that were going on and things she's feeling and revelations about stuff. And you realize how much more sick she really is than you've even seen. And then you understand some of it even a little bit more too. And just, it's a lot of stuff.
But then you also have the credits where she's staring at Howard.
Oh, and then it just ended really creepy, though, with what she did with her parents and the whole scene and everything like that.
Yeah, but like with the credits where she just.
Oh, I know.
And that's continuous. That's not a loop. That's a continuous.
Oh,
shot.
I know, and you can see it in her eyes.
And like they're watering, and her
there's some skill right there, because then she's looking like she's gonna break.
Yeah,
and it was unnerving, but you couldn't stop watching.
Yeah. Like we watched the whole credits just watching her just stare at your soul, because then
she looks like she's gonna cry and laugh, and her smile looks like it's gonna break, and her eyes never actually close, and it's unnerving. So
the movie itself had a lot of unnerving scenes,
things we were like, this is uncomfortable, I want to make it stop. I love the beginning credits though, that it kind of felt like I was watching like Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, it's even colored almost.
It was it's like Technicolor.
Brighter colors, and like everything's kind of like happy feeling. Even the soundtrack is very like whimsical. It feels a bit
very
more
juxtaposed to what is actually happening,
right?
For things.
So and then when it does have its moments of horrificness, they are horrific.
Yes, like they don't hold back.
So that's where it kind of falls into like the horror of it all.
It's almost like Hitchcocky idea, right? You think about, Psycho is much more of the concept of the psyche breaking and how do you deal with all that sort of stuff. And so more on that concept, but then with some harsher elements to it as well, right?
Because there's not until you get to the last, 20 minutes?
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
Like it
really takes a turn suddenly.
It goes from being this character drama, and then she attacks.
Here's
a spoiler portion, but okay. No, you kept away from spoilers. We're just gonna say everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. Yeah. But there were some brutal kills.
Yeah.
There's some brutal kills.
I know, we can spoil things, but
it was. Yeah. I started thinking about the maggots on the pig.
It was gross.
And how stubborn her mom was to not accept food because from family.
Spoilers, but see, we're in spoiler territory now.
And that's just and they're hungry, and they're just
it's messed up, man. It was a good film.
Yeah, I really liked it. It definitely hitting up in probably one of the better movies we watched this year. Right? We were talking about it's getting close to best of season.
Don't give them tidbits for your best of yet.
No, but
it's only a month away.
But just the idea that thinking about it, and you called me a film snob because of the few that I said.
Yes, very much so. He has become a film snob.
Or I'm just looking for artistic qualities.
You're getting older, and it's quality over quantity, right? Yeah. So you're getting snobby or you're getting old, one or the other.
Oh,
I'm just joking.
Damn.
Actually, no, older would probably be.
I'm wiser.
Refined?
Refined.
Oh, you're refining your taste. Does that sound better?
That sounds better.
I like it. Because that is true.
I want to be in shock and awe.
There's a higher standard that you're holding and everything too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A Pearl. Go watch Pearl.
Totally go watch Pearl. So it's been 16 years since Tim Allen donned the fat suit. And Disney said, it's time to put it back on. You're not done, pig.
Oh.
And they brought out a show called The Santa Clauses. It's on Disney Plus. And it is the fourth entry in his now what would be a saga, I guess, because there's no longer a trilogy.
Yeah.
There's 3 episodes that were out at the time of recording. There's only supposed to be, I think, 3 more after that. Okay.
So by the end of the first 2, both me and Mike looked at each other and we're like, we're not really feeling this yet. Just we're not sure. There was a lot of what's the point of that? Because I love the Santa Claus. I'm much more forgiving about Santa Claus 2, and Santa Claus 3 is fun, but in a stupid, ridiculous way. It's only because Martin Short is amazing. Otherwise, really,
Martin Short's the best part of Santa Claus 3.
I mean,
everything else is
kind of crap, right? So, but it's not terrible. But this,
I prefer the Santa Claus 3 over the Santa Claus 2, actually.
I know you
because of Martin Short.
I know, and I totally understand that, and that's fine.
Can't even look at me. You're just like, no.
No. I'm okay with that. I really like Martin Shorts too. I know how much heat I get for liking. I really like Santa Claus 2.
No,
but it's
fine.
the romance side of me that then it shows up, right? But anyways, this show, it felt very forced. Like the acting itself was very forced, and everyone felt like they were kind of overacting, and you didn't really like anyone. Like
it's
Mrs.
Disney
Claus
Channel action.
Mrs. Claus was the only one where I'm like,
she's actually playing the character and playing it well.
Yeah, I was the only one that I liked her.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, well, there's more of her. I'll take some more of that with that. But none of the elves, they were kind of obnoxious and they were weird, and so we're just like,
well, it's definitely when you go back and you watch the first Santa Claus, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of corn in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
more serious.
darker wit. And then they just kind of get goofier and goofier and
and then this just fit into it. How else can we make it?
Yeah.
And so then, but
this is something. Sorry, finish your thought there.
No, go ahead.
You want to see bad effects? People oh, Black Panther had bad effects. Watch this show. If you want to see bad effects, Disney didn't even pay people to make this. It feels like the reindeer are so bad that
when I can tell there's bad effects, that's the level.
It made me wish for the animatronic reindeer from the Santa Claus 3 were back, and the Santa Claus 3 animatronic reindeer were not that good.
Oh, Chet.
Yes.
Yes.
I miss Chet.
You miss Chet. Oh God.
I miss Chet over whatever's going on in the show.
There's a level there. So we watched the third episode. We're like, let's just get it all done with, and let's just see. Kiddo seemed really into it, which was odd. But we'll just get into it. Happy to report, third episode did improve.
Yeah,
it was better. Only because the overacting came way down. All of a sudden there was well,
it finally became a bit more of the story driven.
Yeah, it was less of it was less of the crazy reaction and oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
And became more focused, and actually it slowed it down and became a little bit more serious.
Because episode one was more of his 28th year of, and then realizing the problem, and then it's the 29th year, and it's the ending of the 29th year, right? 29th has just ended, or something like that. They do 2 time jumps before the third episode.
Yeah,
right.
But it just, so then finally it's the concept of him retiring basically, and the whole point of it is then is to try to choose a new Santa Claus, and there's some good commentary in there about the changing and the loss of Christmas spirit, because the Santa Claus franchise never dealt with that. It was always just the spirit was fine, and it shows that world that we are in. That we were in, and then now the issue, his magic is failing. He's making the commentary about it just doesn't feel the same. You don't have that same spark. He's like, I don't know if people are having less kids. He's slowing down because the world is slowing down on the magic. Yeah, and so there was a lot of when you start thinking of those types of
there was actually some good stuff in it, but there was just too much schlock over top of it.
So then the third episode wasn't as obnoxious, so you could actually really listen and think about those principles and those things that they were saying. So it did get better. So I'm not totally adherent to watching episode 4, which is a good thing. Yeah. And I kind of want to see what's happening.
I did like when he goes, because he's like, I need some Christmas spirit, and he goes to go visit the soy milk girl from the first movie, right? And she's like, he's like, oh, it's been so long, like you've grown up, I totally forgot. But she has no Christmas spirit left. She doesn't believe.
She didn't even remember it was Christmas.
She didn't even was like, well, who are you talking about? What do you mean you're Santa Claus? I'm going to call the cops.
Like she forgot about it.
Yeah, forgot about actually even meeting Santa Claus because she's like, I'm 40 years old and I'm sleeping on my parents' couch.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know.
And I'm just trying to worry about day-to-day everything. Like, I don't have time to think about all this sort of stuff, you know?
So, like, those things I think was interesting. And the fact that they mentioned, like, well, people are having less kids and, like, you know, the world has changed. I don't understand these people anymore, right? So it was kind of cool to see those kind of commentaries show up. Yeah. And that lack of, you know.
Oh, that real change for stuff, right?
So I'm still curious to watch it and see where it's going to go.
At least now I know the expectation of it. I mean, I have
a feeling of where it's going to go because of the casting and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then, because, you know, he has 2 kids. And... You know, with
and only one of them has the initials SC.
Mrs. Claus. I know, right? And you know, I like the commentary with them because they've grown up in the North Pole, and for them, they're excited about going to the real world. Yeah. And I thought, so his teenage son, he has his VR goggles on all the time. And so it's so much commentary of like, oh, you don't ever put your game down. You live in this magical world. And it's just, you know, it's a fake. And you don't ever come out and talk to us type thing.
He's mowing the lawn.
And then when you find out, he's just living in our world. Yeah. It's just like, I went to the post office today. Yeah. And he's like, what? Your fantasy world that you're living in is just Earth, basically. Like, and it was like, he's so happy about the concept of such a simple life that's not in the North Pole. And it was just so depressing to think about it, but it is really that unknown, and it's no different than, that's why, you know, say Charlie and the other little girl that's now in this, were just so fascinated by the North Pole because it's different than what they're in, right? Yeah. And Scott and I cannot remember her name, Carol, know the difference, so they could still see that magic, right? And so there's some good commentaries on that as well. Yeah. And so I, you know, hopefully the overacting doesn't show back up.
Oh, it will with that one elf.
Oh God, yeah, you're right. He's a little overwhelming.
Remember him, like Bernard, who like was just like an ass.
I miss Bernard. When we lost Bernard, that made a huge difference. Like that was a real loss. That's for sure. Because he's just so crass, right? But so I'm curious to see how it'll go.
Yeah. But so it's definitely something to watch with kids.
Yeah, you know, it's something, you know, and kiddos seem to enjoy it. Yeah, so
like a lot.
Surprising, because I don't know. I mean, we watched Santa Claus a whole bunch, so I assume he would remember. But you know, maybe it was just him getting into the Christmas spirit as well. So
yeah, the holly jollies. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is the Christmas part of the episode.
So now,
did you not say that?
The Christmas part that was like the kickoff to our Christmas, which might need to be an annual kickoff to Christmas.
I have a feeling I'm going to watch it this week still.
I would like to watch it again with you.
Yeah, I was going to watch it when you were at your...
Okay, never mind. I will watch it by myself sometime.
No. You have other things you need to watch.
Oh, I found more Netflix like Christmas movies. Yeah.
Like Hallmark style?
No, maybe. I don't know.
Porn?
No, what? Now I need to find that.
I was meaning like you were gonna watch Disenchanted and stuff like that. So
I know. So anyway, the Christmas kickoff that you were very excited for, which was amazing.
The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yes.
James Gunn and crew filmed a holiday special while they were filming Volume 3, and the holiday special came out before. And it's fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
I had so much fun. We watched this before we put our decorations up, so it kind of like helped kick us off into the mood. We had pancakes, we sat there, and I loved it.
I laughed, I cried, I laughed some more.
Right? It was
so good.
Like it was
everything that Guardians supposed to be.
Yeah. There was just, you know, the Drax and Mantis, just their banter back and forth and how well the lines were delivered, and just like the goofiness of what it was because they're trying to help their friend. have a Christmas and they don't really understand it, and the music, and like it was great.
So I've always thought it was funny, Drax, with how serious he is, but he's humorous because the way he delivers his lines, and he's so blunt about things that make us uncomfortable, right? And I love that has still stuck around, even though he has become part of the family and he obviously cares about them and he's not a harsh ass anymore.
Yeah.
He's still
a harsh ass.
He's still a harsh ass, right? Where it's still like, well, you know, do you want to get your funny little man, or do you want to help Peter because you love him and you care? And he's just like, I know what you want me to say, but what I really want to say is I want the funny little man.
Yeah.
Screw Peter, you know? And it's like, yep, no, that's still...
Yep.
I love that hasn't gone away, where he's just still so excited. Like, he's sad and crying when no one died in the, you know,
the story with Yondu.
In the story, right? It's like, this was a terrible story. No one died. Like, what the hell's this?
Why are you telling me this?
So it's just like little things like that.
Yeah.
That still really keep that character.
Mm-hmm.
And then the growth and that expansion that we got to see on Mantis.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to see how scary Mantis actually truly could be.
Right?
If she wasn't good. She gets drunk and she goes nuts with power.
Oh, she goes, yeah.
And just uses her power without checks and balances.
She says now suddenly, well, no one's going to stop me. Why can't I just do whatever I want?
Because she thinks she's doing it for the good, because she's trying to help Peter.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to make him feel good, right? And it was just wild to see how scary she really could be,
right?
If she had,
because it's not, you know, Drax is like, well, he's always going to be like that. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to hit the thing because he wants to hit the thing.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a new thing, but she's like, she's justifying it all the time. Well, we didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good, so good.
Right, and then we got to see jacked Groot.
Yes.
Buff Groot, swole Groot, whatever you want to call it.
That was funny.
He's getting chunky.
Kiddo thought that.
He went from he was so tiny, scrawny.
Yeah, all of a sudden
so scrawny, and now he's like just
puberty hit, and he's hitting the bench. Apparently.
Yeah, wonder when he's gonna lean out again.
Right.
But just everything with it too. Like you got to see where you know, how Yondu started collecting.
That made me cry.
Right. And why Quill has such an affinity for his quad blasters.
Right.
Right.
By the way, there's spoilers.
And
you didn't even get a warning on that one. That was terrible.
Well, there was. There was like. That's hints. I didn't say exactly what happened. Just
say, I'm sorry.
No. I said what I said. It still was cryptic.
We got to see the magical, amazing Kevin Bacon. I mean.
You know what's nice, though, to actually have? And, like, so many movie stars do end up, when they play themselves in TV movies, they end up always portraying themselves as assholes.
Right?
And this was quite refreshing, actually, that he wasn't necessarily like super good.
Like, he seemed normal.
Yes.
He just seemed like a normal human being.
He was just all excited for Christmas, and then Drax and Mantis show up and fuck his shit up.
Right? And it's like, no, I mean, he's still like, no, panics, go away. Like you need to go away. Yeah. And like, he's
But then at the end, he easily, when they, you know, well, spoilers, when Mantis's power is taken away off of him, he wants to go. Yeah. But then he hears a story, and then his compassion, his humanity comes out, and is like, no, I have to take a moment. I have to help out, and then
and showing that his love and for the holiday and the Christmas spirit idea, right?
Yeah. All in all, like, I just loved it. I just, you know, it was a great special, and just makes me so excited for Volume 3.
Yeah.
Like, and I know Volume 3 is going to be, you know, a kick to the nuts and rip out your guts and heart and stomp on them from what's going to happen, you know, most likely. It's just another one of those entries that's within the Guardian stables, and I believe,
and again, new music too. We went and found it on Spotify, and it's already on a Christmas list. And it makes me laugh.
Gunn has an uncanny way of picking music.
It's amazing. Like, how many artists have we actually found through him and his movies?
Like,
you know,
I think that's one of the beauty of having a vast knowledge of old and new. And being okay with different types of music.
Yeah.
Right.
And he finds a great way of putting it all together.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
That
was just that. Like,
and being able to integrate it into this things as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the songs were performed in it.
Yeah.
So then, and they helped move the story along.
Yeah.
And yet they were funny all on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
Yeah. I had a weird epiphany today.
Okay.
And this is not intentional. This is not nothing to do with Gunn so much with the Guardians and all that, but like, because I've always with reading the comics too, and then with the way Gunn has decided to portray Rocket, I've really always attached to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
the raccoon.
Well, see, this is the thing I thought. This is my epiphany.
Uh-huh.
So you really could easily play up the idea with Rocket in our today's world of people that are non-binary, because he himself does not feel he's a raccoon, but he looks like a raccoon, so everyone calls him a raccoon, and it pisses him off that he's called a raccoon because he doesn't feel like he's a raccoon.
Wow, you look so excited with that, but that's a very good point.
Right? In his inner being, he
identifies as something else.
Yes, but everyone sees him as a raccoon.
Huh.
And it hit me because when he gets so mad
because Kevin Bacon's like, what is with this raccoon? Oh my god, it's a talking raccoon. He freaks out.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's that idea of like that's a perfect character to use. That idea,
a good allegory for
of he's not.
It's
what
any
he
sort
is,
of it's any
right?
sort of identification wise for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point for that.
I don't think they ever meant for it to happen,
because it's
you could use it that way easily because it is the idea of like if you identify differently.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just non-binary of any sort, like you're not what you present as what people automatically assume, right? Yeah. So it like hit me even more to be like, holy crap, I'm even more like Rocket.
Yeah.
In that retrospect, right? Huh. So
that's cool.
So what do you think? Spoilers. What do you think of?
I think we've actually already announced that there's spoilers.
No. I'm gonna make sure to say everyone, so you have your time to put your earmuffs on and like.
In case you only heard some of the movie, even though it wasn't, all
it was 45 minutes, so you have time to watch it now.
Okay, spoilers. What?
With Nebula getting Bucky's arm.
She looks so happy about it. She's just like. Kiddo was just like, is that an arm? Like, yeah, dude, it's the arm. Yeah. Like, but yeah, she's just so happy about that, which I thought was funny for sure. I thought like the little tiny thing. I would like to point out how amazing Groot's like dioramas of the movie itself, though, of scenes he was not in, were. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right? How did when did he make them?
Maybe Drax told him the story or something.
But like, when did he make them?
He's that good.
But he's like, no teenager would be that thoughtful. But yeah, that was quite funny. But yeah,
I liked the fact that
seeing their different.
Oh, now I can't remember his name.
Interesting.
The guy that has the mohawk.
I even had it in my head earlier. Yeah. Oh, good.
I said it the other day too.
I had it in my head like when we were actually.
I love when he's holding it. He's holding a diorama of him holding a diorama of him holding a diorama of him holding a diorama.
Right. It's that inside and a whole bunch.
Sean Gunn's character, Kraglin. Yes. Right. Oh, why did that happen? That was a giant like Mike's on panic attack.
I had it.
We just hadn't butchered someone's name today.
Kraglin. Yeah.
So there you go. We just
had to do that.
We had to. That's.
But we're actually with Kraglin. We're very impressed on how integral his character really has been. Yeah. He's like the story keeper of the epic histories of the crew, right?
Yeah. I think too, like
I love how that unfolded too, with him telling the story, and then with Peter being like, I don't think he doesn't know how that ended, and then seeing all that where he's not mad about it, and but the idea of not knowing everything, but it was such a positive to that was not known, but
then, like, that's so special, too. Then like that's why it almost makes Peter and Yondu's relationship in this even more, because it's even further proof that he was his daddy.
Yondu was his dad. Exactly.
Because
and then I think back on Guardians 2, and then I start crying, and it's just this vicious cycle.
Your father, but
it's so emotional.
Right. So
you were saying something. I'm sorry.
No.
Again.
Just. Oh, I already said the meta within.
Oh, within. Okay,
yeah. I did like the end credit scene where they're like, dressing Groot up, and then it all falls off, and Rocket's like, now we got to do it all over again next year.
It's like, yes, please. Yes, please. The answer is yes.
I know, right? Like, I'm not happy that James Gunn and Marvel are parting ways after Volume 3.
No,
I'm happy for him for his career with DC and the potential, because with the Suicide Squad and with Peacemaker, it shows that he still has an understanding of those characters and knows how to make obscure characters likable and interesting.
Yeah. But can he also do it with Guardians?
Like,
I mean, is that too much to ask? Jeez,
like, I still think he would make a great X-Men.
Yeah.
Right? Because he understands family and those elements.
Yeah.
I still think he'd make a great Ninja Turtles movie. Right?
Out of character, but
not out of character.
Not out of character, but just.
I'm just looking at
I've never heard you say that.
I think his banter
could be helpful
for the Turtles.
Imagine like Drax as Raphael.
Yeah.
Like that would work.
Like you look at the Guardians and like they, he set it up, because I know that the next iteration of Turtles is going to be based more teenage again, so we're going to lose any of the ninja aspect and all that. But anyways, that's a
rabbit hole,
right? But yeah, no, I think he's going to do good over at DC, because it sounds like they've got a really good.
Well, I mean, what he has done for them has been great.
Yeah.
So no doubt that it will still continue to be that way. But
I do believe that Guardians is still my favorite out of anything the MCU's done.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, it's action packed, and it's got so much more heart than anything else that is, and it speaks to my personality, right?
Yeah.
And that's where
I love the music aspect for it. I love the banter back and forth. Yep. I love the intense comic aspect, but the drama and the comedy as well. Yep. Like, it was such a perfect mix of things, and I like the ensembles that have the banter and you have those core identities that mix together into something perfect, and so it doesn't have to depend on one specific character. It can just depend on all of them. Yeah. It is perfect.
Yeah.
When is the third one supposed to be out?
Summer.
Okay. Because that'd be fun. That would be something that would be cool to be able to watch those first two again.
Yeah.
Just because I totally would be willing to watch those again.
Oh yeah. All the time.
Right? So.
But yeah, this special had so much magic to it, and I think this is one of those times where streaming is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because streaming brought us a 45-minute Guardians episode that was incredible and was the perfect kickoff start to Christmas.
Yeah,
and
you couldn't have started it in a better way. I think.
Yeah. So go watch it it again, because it's that fun.
Well, there you go. We have it. It's been little tidbits of Christmas.
Yeah, just like the foam on your cup, or the sprinkles or topping, whatever.
So we're gonna try to keep watching some more, see what it brings us, figure out what we can fit in our schedule for everything as we inch our way towards the big holiday
and the end of the year.
Oh goodness! Thanks
for the mega list that you always look forward to. The mega list,
I know, and then my stress of like Mike, remind me what movies I liked again.
You like nothing. Nothing at all.
Twilight, of course. Jeez.
Oh my god. I thought that was done.
I ran right past that one and I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Remember, stay rad.